man. 122 pounder, 10-5, man. Watch the Goodfellas Sports TV, bro.
You guys come from Walker, Wisconsin. Watch
Goodfellas Sports.
Goodfellas boxing.
Had to use this visor, the sun in a perfect spot. But yeah, it's about Errol Spence. Shout out to Bushido, Bushido Boxing. Go subscribe to his channel. Shout out to Lion Killer Podcast. Go subscribe to Lion Killer Podcast. He didn't talk about this. So apparently Errol Spence responded to Jaron Ennis' performance on Twitter. He responded to a lot of things. I seen Bruce Vane video, Bruce MF Vane, subscribe to his channel too, where a fan called out Errol Spence for fire sticking the fights, because that's what Terrence Crawford said, and he went and said, well, I support Showtime and all this type of stuff, and he responded with a video. He responded to everything but what Terrence Crawford said, and hopefully that's on the good side of things, where they kind of negotiate and they keeping it private. More likely, that's probably not what's happening, but trying to be more optimistic about these things. But like I said, if it didn't happen last year, it is what it is. But yeah, he said laugh out loud, and by the time you see this, we probably go live Monday night, Monday evening, something like this. And we discussed Jaron Ennis a little bit more. We did it Sunday night. So make sure you checking out the podcast platforms. If it's a podcast platform you want me to add the podcast to, man, let me know. And I do my best to accommodate you as well too. And support, shout out to everybody support me on Instagram. I'm creating some videos on Instagram that has nothing to do with this channel. So shout out to y'all watching the videos. Appreciate y'all for sure. So nonetheless, he said LOL, basically laughing about Jaron Ennis' performance, and I predicted it. I mean, anybody could predict it. As soon as he got in there and somebody went longer than they predicted, and this was for Berlanga was trying to prevent with the Nicholson fight and going forward. You know, when you known for knocking people out and people getting behind you and the machine is hyping you and fans is hyping you and all that type of stuff, as soon as you go one round, as soon as you go two rounds, as soon as you go the distance, we all know it's going to happen. No matter how treacherous of a punch you are, they all go the distance. Somebody went, you know, they all go the distance. They all lose. They all had hiccups. Somebody could take the punch, give it. You know, Sonny Liston and Joe Louis were some of the most feared fighters in history. It happens. And I knew as soon as it happened to Jaron Ennis, it was going to be an overreaction because we've seen it before. And a lot of people saying, well, you know, we told him he wasn't that good. He all said he could do this, that, and the third. He couldn't cut the ring off. He couldn't do this. And obviously, Errol Spence kind of piling on. Piling up before everybody else piled on. And it's really the fans. The fans do this. Now his dad, you know, they spoke on some things or whatever, and you know, said they want their shot and they felt his son the best. Who don't? Angel feel the same way. Teofimo Sr. feel the same way about his son, of course. Jax felt the same way about Shane. Floyd Sr. felt the same way about Mayweather Jr. That's gonna happen, but I guess that's another video for another day. But yeah, of course. You know, a lot of people saying that he could beat Errol Spence, and him and Errol Spence was getting on FaceTime with Gilly the Kid and Yellow Beezy and them going back and forth trying to build the fight up. And, you know, at the end of the day, it is levels to this, you know, to be quite frank. And at the end of the day, you know, he said he never got approached about the fight. Terrence Crawford said he was talking to Showtime or talking to people at PBC, whatever you want to call it. He never was approached about the fight. And, you know, that's what it was. So at the end of the day, they was hyping him up, but they hype Errol Spence up the same way. And the only reason that Terrence Crawford didn't get hyped up the same way was for one obvious reasons, because, you know, he didn't come in, you know, he was under the radar more than Jaron Ennis and more than he was under the radar more of those guys. You know what I'm saying? He came in under the radar, low key, all that type of stuff. So I think that was the difference for him. But yeah, just moving on. I think for him, I mean, not get caught up too much with the fans say. You know, I wouldn't get caught up in that, bro. I would just, that code make your car do some funny shit, don't it? But it is what it is. But yeah, I wouldn't get caught up in what the fans say at all. I wouldn't get caught up in it, bro. I knew this was gonna happen. You know, as soon as somebody went a little bit longer, landed a clean shot or did this, that, and third with him. I predicted this just right before the fight. I ain't know Karen was gonna be the one to do it, but that's how it always go. But Errol Spence saying, I mean, that's what you supposed to do. That's boxing. It's criticism, constructive, couch potato criticism, car criticism. I mean, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. And I don't think they will. His dad's an OG, his brother's box. You know what I'm saying? I think he was believing the hype, and it's hard not to. If you go around and you give a kid $1 million, what you think he gonna do? Come on. He gonna do some childish shit. There's some grown people who do some childish shit. You know, somebody with some maturity and some experience with money, they gonna buy, asset. They gonna buy really good assets before they gonna buy it on the dumb stuff. So, well, yeah, Errol Spence, it don't surprise me. He's like everybody else piling on him. They were starting to talk aloud. They were starting to call guys out, and they hadn't, went through the proper protocol or the proper traditional route of getting there to the championship and fighting who you need to be fighting. And I always tell you that it's all about, where you fighting and who you fighting. And people say, man, where you fighting? Yeah, that's important too. It's a lot of people who don't leave their backyard. For example, with Josh Taylor. When somebody put me on Josh Taylor, my boy from Chicago put me on, Mike, he put me on Josh Taylor, and he told me what you think, and I started looking, and the first thing obviously you look at the fighter, I look at the feet, say his feet not bad, solid fighter, you know what I'm saying, but I started looking at his resume, and he from the UK, and he had already fought in the United States a few times, or, his resume ain't that long, he had already fought in the States. That let me know right then and there that they was square business about moving him. It was square business about how they was moving him, and he was gonna be a world level fighter, bro. That told me right there with the skill set he had and the way he was moving. So yeah, not just fighting in a particular area, not fighting in your own backyard. I remember Lippius fought for the 140-pound title. I think it was the IBF. Terrence Crawford left behind. He fought a guy who had never left his own country, and I thought that dude beat Lippius low key. So sometimes it don't matter. Sometimes these dudes come prepared, bro. They really do. Sometimes these dudes come to kick ass and take names. I'll tell you whatever go. But yeah, some of these dudes come prepared, man. So yeah, it's important where you fighting at. I tell you a lot. Just the same for US fighters. So at the end of the day, it is about who you fighting and the level of guys you fighting. You can feel in the gym I'm beating up guys with sparring, but these ain't 12, 14, 16. This ain't headgear. This a live fight. And one thing that people I heard a few videos guys I listened to. One thing I haven't heard was people talk about how the inexperience and how he let the crowd dictate what he was trying to do. He was trying to load up and get the knockout for the crowd. He wearing Mr. Catch a Body on his trunks and all that. He was trying to play to the crowd. And one thing about it is, one thing you will never catch Floyd Mayweather doing is, worried about the crowd. He worried about winning. What's his best possibility of winning? What way he got to win? And when you start trying to impress celebrities, you trying to impress your city of Philadelphia, you trying to impress. That's why a lot of people don't believe in kind of like fighting and having these young guys fight in their backyards and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people don't kind of believe in that, because they start pressing and getting tight. Ain't no point for him to be looking for one or two big shots. He was trying to impress everybody that was there at the fight, trying to make a name for himself instead of just doing what he do. And I think the moment got a little bit big for him, and I think that's the biggest thing about it. Had he been fighting this kid in the gym, he probably would have stopped him. Had he been fighting this kid on the showbox card, he probably would have stopped him. Truth be told. And you got to remember too. Remember Regis Progress had went the distance with that kid. Was it on ESPN or Showtime? He had I don't know if he had a bad performance. It was on ESPN or Showtime. He had a bad performance. And a lot of people start jumping off the, not the Josh Taylor fight. Saw people start jumping off the Regis Progress bandwagon. I think it was before he became champion. Everybody kept saying, oh man, Regis ain't that good. He struggled with this guy. I think it was after ESPN performance in New Orleans. And people start jumping off the bandwagon and stuff of that nature. Bro, you can't, y'all overreacting. These are young, developing fighters. Especially when they're not fighting on an active level. Truly, of course, they're going to have highs and lows. It's like basketball. Donovan Mitchell going to have a bad game on Tuesday, but in basketball, you come back on Thursday, Friday, sometimes Wednesday, you got a chance to redeem yourself. Y'all get too high and y'all get too low on these fighters, bro. No matter what the result is, good or bad. And that's my opinion. But, you know, with Errol Spence, that's just what he do. He can respond to everybody but Terrence Crawford. That's my point of view on it. He can respond to everybody but Terrence Crawford. He got a quick response for fans saying he streamed the fights. He got a quick response to whatever it is. It's an expeditiously respond. But when it come to Jaron Ennis performance, Tank winning, he quick to respond. When it come to Terrence Crawford saying something, oh man, he lost his phone, his keyboard got jammed. Oh, he got to clean his keyboard, his Mac froze, his PC froze, his iPhone froze. Like, bro, he shouldn't be allowed even to be sliding on the internet street if it ain't got shit to do with his next fight. If it ain't got nothing to do with Crawford, he shouldn't even be allowed. Elon Musk shouldn't allow that motherfucker to tweet. Excuse my language. He shouldn't allow him to tweet. Real talk. Because you got a quick response for everybody but yourself. And everybody said, well, you know, everybody fan base jumping on booze. I told you it wasn't that good, this, that. And they did the same thing to Regis Progress. And what DMX say, fake dudes hot back on my again. That's what they do. These fans super duper fickle, but he shouldn't even be allowed to show his face to the fans, bruh. He shouldn't be, he should be banned. He should be banned for how felonious his whole career been. But hey, it is what it is. Let me know what you girls and guys think, man. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Financially want to support the channel, Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree, find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, the whole nine. Appreciate the love support. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Peace.